Hey folks, I'm Becky with Nerd Finances. Welcome to my channel. Today we are taking a look back on my budget for the month of June, also my goals for the month of June, and then taking a look at the goals that I set for myself for this July of 2024. So without further ado, let's jump into the goals that I set for myself for last month, June of 2024. The first big goal that I had was to save $300 for my transition, and I'm going to say I did this because I ended up taking that money and then putting it back into the transition itself. So didn't technically save it, but I didn't technically not save it. I did not do a complete breakdown cost of the rental and estimations and all that things. I will need to do that this month or August, just depending on how everything goes in life. I did, however, go on a trip to Yellowstone National Park, so we checked off one of my year goals and my goal for the month of June. It was a fantastic trip. I saw tons of wildlife, elk and bison and bear, grizzly bear, black bear, pronghorn, pelicans, birds, all the things. It was just fantastic. While I was gone, I happened to not kill my garden. It is growing very slowly. I don't know if it's going to make it through the hot July that we are walking into, but I'm going to say I have not killed my garden yet, and hopefully I don't kill it in the future. And then based off everything that happened, I still walked or worked out every day, even though I'm not hitting all of my goals that I wanted to as far as being as physically fit as possible for my triathlon that's coming up at the end of July. I am still walking even when I don't feel like it, so that is good. And because I got sick and some things happened, I did not eat 135 to 140 grams of protein every single day. But alas, we did pretty good. That's 4 out of 6. I'm pretty happy with that, and we had a fantastic trip to Yellowstone. As far as looking at the goals that I've set for myself for the month of July, I'm going to again try and break even and save $300 for my transition from not working to school. We're already in the middle of this transition, so it's not really saving for it, it's just surviving this transition. I'm going to do the breakdown cost of turning my house into a rental property. I'm planning on doing a birthday camping trip, and this is going to happen right after my triathlon. Essentially, we're within like 20 minutes away from one of my favorite places, so we're going to hop on and do a really quick camping trip at one of those places just before my birthday. I'm going to, again, not kill my garden or my back lawn. My front lawn is completely off limits, and I say that because we did a really big house update with that. I burned my stump. It is gone. It took me 2 full days of burning, almost a complete 48 hours of a slow burn with that, and it just kind of disappeared. And now I've got a big hole in my yard that I need to fill in, but that is for later Becky to worry about. So I'm not worried about the front yard, but the backyard. I want to walk or work out every day. Coming into July, it's going to be a big push training for my triathlon, so I'm going to be putting in some heavy miles on my bike and running and swimming. And then, of course, I want to complete my Olympic triathlon. I would like to finish it in under 4 hours. I think that's a reasonable goal for someone of my physical capability, my weight, and my age. If I was a lot lighter, I would say, no, we're going to knock this out of the park. But 4 hours, I'm starting about 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm hoping to be done around noon. And I have like a 15-minute window of where I'm going to give myself grace because of the transitions. I'm not exactly sure what to expect with those. But those are my big goals for July. I think it's going to be a good month, coming in out of a very busy end of June into a busy early July. I think it's going to be somewhat stressful, but I think it's going to be good. But speaking of June, let's go ahead and jump in and see how I did as far as my expenses and my budgeting and income and all those things, because we stopped my job, went on a trip, and we're doing a lot of big changes. So let's jump into my budget breakdown for the month of June of 2024. Alright, so starting right at the top, we're going to go with my personal expenses. We have the biggest one, which is my mortgage. We saw that come down in May, just about $100. So that was $1,209 for that. We paid $62.46 for my car insurance. That is a monthly payout that comes, and they pay it semi-annually to whatever they do with that. We didn't owe any trash. We did pay $82.50 for my quarterly sewer payment. That's easy peasy. Write a check, send it in the mail. We have my internet breakdown between personal and business expenses. So we paid $9.60 for personal use of the internet. And then for my water, it was lower than I estimated by $2 and some change. So we ended up spending $47.74 on my water for the last 2 months. As far as electrical, we're doing pretty good. Came in just a little higher than I was estimated, spending $77.87 on my electrical, and that covers my stove, heating, and air conditioning. So that's going to be a big one coming into summer. It is going to be going constantly because we're going to get triple digits. As far as groceries and food, let's jump over to my breakdown. We did quite a bit of spending as far as camping and trips and all the things, so there's a little bit hanky-panky stuff going on here, but in total for just core groceries eating at the house, I spent $284.58, so under $300 there. Happy to see that. As far as eating out, we did not do very good. I ended up getting some Cold Stone ice cream, went on a date with my girlfriend, so that was $16.76, and then because my girlfriend's daughter was hospitalized and her grandma was there and all the things, I ended up taking them Jimmy John's food because they needed some, so that came in just under $30. And then I did a really fun date with my girlfriend right at the end of the month. I took her out to breakfast to an amazing place in Boise, Idaho, and that is called the Griddle, and that came in close to $60 because we splurged and got these amazing raspberry crepes. They're to die for. And then doing some prep for camping and transitions and everything, I took my girlfriend and her daughter out for ice cream. So we ended up eating out for $125.47. I think that's the most I've spent as far as eating out in a very long time. But alas, let's move on. We jump right into gas breakdown, where we ended up spending $147.45 of personal money on gas, and that is not for business stuff. We have our traditional business expense coming in from the additional income down here, but we also have travel and trips from Holy Smokes Photography because going to Yellowstone was a business trip for my photography business, and so that is going to come out as a business expense for Holy Smokes Photography and not a personal expense here. So $147 of personal money. As far as health and maintenance, we spent $100 on counseling. I had to replace the headlight in my truck, and that came at just over $19. And then an oil change and all the fixings, make sure I'm good to go for some long distance travel, just under $80 there, for a total of health and maintenance to $198.66. As far as fun and other, I ended up spending an additional $44.68 on the camping trip stuff. That's just carryover and just things that come down. And then as far as birthdays, I spent $20.65 on birthday presents for stuff. So that brings my total expenses, of personal expenses I should say, to $2,653.08, about $334 more than I was estimating. But you know what? We did camping trips, we had some stuff come up that, you know, kind of cost a little bit more than we thought, and we just did it. So that's life. Let's go ahead and jump into my business expenses. Alright, so looking back at that first one, we do have that internet split, 85% business, 15% personal. So we ended up spending $50 of business money on internet so I can do videos like this. Didn't have no security or anything like that. As far as enduring finances, I'm going to lump my house rental into enduring finances. I'm not sure at this time if I'm going to include it in the business itself or if I'm going to hold on to it underneath my personal ownership or move it to the business, if that makes sense. I haven't decided yet. I'm kind of waiting to see how the first couple of years go, and then I'll make that decision. So for right now, as far as tracking it and keeping it like broken around for my personal expenses as just like a basic housing, we're going to be putting it under enduring finances as income source and as expenses there. So we ended up spending about $15.65 on rental projects, just fixing up things, doing that. I bought more furniture for my house, so we spent $215 on that. And then goods and stuff for the rental itself, not furniture, but just like, you know, towels and other things. We spent $76.22 there. So we spent a total of $306.87, all of that on my future rental house here. Breaking down to Holy Smokes Photography, this is going to be a big one this month. I did have to pay $5.19 in Etsy's fees. That's just because I have a shop through them that people can purchase prints, which they did. I also have marketing that they do for me, so I ended up paying $19.67 on Etsy marketing fees. And then because someone bought a photograph, I had to spend $10.83 on printing the photograph and shipping the photograph from a third-party source. And then, of course, my trip to Yellowstone National Park coming in at $342.42. And not all of that is gas. Some of it was other things that came in with that, but a lot of those are written off as tax deductible because it's a business expense, and I'll make money from the photographs that I took. So that brings my total Holy Smokes Photography expenses for the month of June to $378.11. And then on additional income, we spent $2.26 on gas going to and from with that. So let's look at the wrap up of that. It brings the total business expenses to way over what we estimated to $737.24. But the good thing is that we're making money, so let's jump over to the income that we earned in June. As far as the first one we have is my VA benefit. It's a 2024 fixed rate. I got $524.31. My part-time job, Pizza Dough job, I ended up finishing on my last day, so we got 2 full paychecks from that, but we brought in $1,226.57 from that. And then I got $500 from 2 different other sources, and so that was pretty nice to kind of help even out this month. And then we earned $255.12 from Enduring Finances, and by that I mean we made 12 cents off ads from my website, and then $255 from selling stuff from this house. So I'm essentially going, am I taking it? Okay, am I donating it or selling it? And if I'm selling it, then it's going in to fund the house in the future, so it's a business income coming from that, which is good. So selling goods, buying goods, we're not seeing a lot of money lost at this point in time. As far as Holy Smokes Photography, we ended up making $25.99 from selling 1 photograph. We earned 20 cents from stock photography, bringing that total of income to $26.19. And as far as additional income, I didn't do a whole lot this month because I got sick and I've been training and camping and all the things. So the only thing that I did was donate plasma a few times. I brought in $110 from that, bringing my total income to $3,142.19. And based off of my total business and personal expenses, we came in at $3,390.32. My total income just shy of that, so we were short $248.13. But we are going through a big transition and having fun in the middle of that, so I'm not too bad with that. We still are working through kinks like that. You can see the total breakdown in different ways. So we have my personal expenses here, expenses, income, that we're good on that, but my Enduring Finances expenses were more than my income that I came in as far as buying goods and selling goods. And then Holy Smokes Photography is way over on expenses because we did a huge trip to Yellowstone. I am so excited with some of the photographs that I got. They are just beautiful, and there's a couple that I think are just going to do phenomenal, and I'm really excited to see what happens when I get them out into the world and people really start taking a look at them, because there's a couple that they're beautiful. But that is where we're at for this month. Lost about $250 as far as not saving it. Still very happy with that. Moving right into July, a busy month. We're gonna go, try and get my house ready for the transition, make some additional income to kind of keep me afloat during this time frame, and then getting ready to start school at the end of August, going for sign language, and moving forward with that as a backup plan for all my business stuff. So feeling pretty good. End of June was stressful. Going into July, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm nervous about the triathlon, but I can't put all of my focus on being stressed about that because there's a lot of things going on. But I will check in with you next time when I break down how everything happened and my net worth has increased or decreased over the last month, as well as how my investments in my retirement accounts and my stock portfolio did on a generic level. And then the video after that will be breaking down all the individual dividends that I earned for the month of June from my personally managed stock portfolio through Ally. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your summer months and are not as busy and hectic and chaotic as me. Not likely, you know how life is. But I will check in with you next time. Bye, folks.